Greetings and welcome to another edition of 91X's Beer for Breakfast ABV. I'm not Tommy. Tommy is doing community service today, but I'm Garrett, and I'm very happy to be here, along with Paul Segura from Karl Strauss.
Aloha.
Our new friend from Bay City Brewing, who will be featuring their beers today, this is Chris West.
Thank you for having me.
Aside from being a brewer, he has a great name for radio. And of course, producer Danielle pouring delicious beer for us. So we're very excited to welcome Bay City Brewing in today. Just celebrated your second anniversary, right?
Did have that just happen this last Saturday. So we do have our second anniversary IPAs on draft at the brew house. And then we also have our nice little merch to go along with it as well.
Congratulations on 2 years, man.
Thank you very much.
Cheers
Thank
to that.
You. Yes.
Pretty rad.
Surviving another year.
Yeah. We'll drink to that.
So yeah, we have our Vienna Lager here to start off with.
Color looks excellent. A nice dark golden, light copper color.
Yeah, Vienna Lager.
Very nice.
I love this beer. It's our it was our original sort of approachable beer. Lagers just give you that sort of nice, easy approachability. This one in particular, where we're looking for a little bit of malty sweetness, and like I said, I love making this beer, and I love drinking this beer, to be honest. So
I love drinking this beer too.
Thank you very much.
Very clean, as lagers should be.
Yes.
Crisp finish, but it's also got that slightly bready, slightly toasty maltiness that's there.
Yep.
From the Vienna malts.
Vienna malt. We use a little bit of it in one other beer that we'll try today. As a malt, I love it. I think it, like you said, it brings that sort of a touch of sweetness, but really a nice bread character to the beer.
Yeah.
And if you can do that in a clean, approachable style, you're talking about something that's just really nice. So
Absolutely. It's a good beer to drink in San Diego when it's summer-like weather.
yeah, again,
But we're also approaching Oktoberfest.
I could see drinking this anytime. This is really like that kind of beer. And you mentioned drinkability. I mean, so it seems like that's something you guys are probably priding yourselves on.
Yes, we drinkability, despite not being a real word, at least from last time I checked. Dictionary.
Oh, you came to the show that makes up words.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way.
I mean, we're sweating.
Crushable.
This isn't quite gillable, but
Yeah, well, I've got to imagine there's at least a few words in the dictionary that come from radio people because, I mean,
Gluggable.
Gluggable.
Crushable.
Crushable. But yeah, no, again, drinkability is a really important aspect for us. It's sort of our ethos at Bay City Brewing Company. We like beer-flavored beer. We like drinkable beer. We like beer that people will drink multiple beers of. It's a business model at the end of the day.
I can tell you worked with Scott Blair.
Yes. So,
Because his litmus on all beers is whether or not it leaves you wanting another one.
yes. And there's so many different aspects to that when you're talking about beer. It's one of the most amazingly beautiful liquids out there.
Yes.
And there's so many dynamics to it, but at the end of the day, when you can tell someone's brain to say, hey, take another sip of that and don't wait too
brother.
long, it's you've accomplished something.
Right.
It's a really fun aspect of beer making.
Yep.
So that's something that we go for. I mean, I sit down with my friends and we'll drink a 10 plus imperial stout with all sorts of ingredients in it, and it's a beautiful moment as well. But we're approaching doing that kind of styles, but at our heart, what our base is always going to be drinkable beers. So that's just sort of who we are.
and I would assume based on where you're located, right next to Sports Arena, you get a lot of people who maybe aren't necessarily into craft beer, but they don't want to have, a beer over the arena. So is that where you kind of get this more approachable to the public?
Yeah, again, there's so many different dynamics to it. Us being next to a great both entertainment and sporting venue that is the Sports Arena, Viejas Valley Casino Center. I probably
All the words.
Valley View Casino Center.
I think I threw it
AKA
out.
Sports Arena.
Yeah, I think I threw in too many words there.
Yeah.
But no, again, we and we'll probably bring it up again, but hockey fans are our lifeblood. We love our hockey fans. We have a lot of also locals that actually work for us. We probably have more locals that work for us than a few other companies, especially at our size. And we all grew up going to Gulls games. And now to be able to serve Gulls fans and to be able to serve them beer that they drink, again, a few of, is an awesome experience, and we really enjoy it.
I've never met a hockey fan who doesn't like beer, by the way.
Right, and I have
Yes.
to commend your staff, because I've been in there before hockey games and before soccer games, and it is just like packed, like shoulder to shoulder. But like you guys handle it so well. I've never had to like wait there forever to get a beer tender's attention, to get anything. So you guys handle it really, really well.
I will give our bartenders a shout out. We never knew walking into it what that was going to be. Again, you hear goals are coming back, and it's an awesome, beautiful thing, but then all of a sudden 400 people are in your room asking for beer, and to get your staff that is trained to really communicate a lot of times and really get people to understand what you're creating, and all of a sudden you got to turn that switch, and it's like, let's get as much beer into these people's hands as possible, and they do a great job doing that.
So I imagine you have the calendars for like the goals schedule and the hockey. The soccer schedule, and all the concerts and everything else.
We work closely. We work closely definitely with both the arena and the goals. So yeah, we're always trying to stay on top of things, and especially like you're saying with the concerts, it's cool. When we first opened, we had Madonna 1 week, and then 2 weeks later Garth Brooks, and you're talking about drastically different clientele walking into a room, but at the end of the day, enjoying the same lineup of beers, and really.
Well, isn't that the great thing about beer? It's the lubricant of social intercourse.
It's a uniter.
It brings people together.
Brings people
from
together.
all walks
Yeah.
of life that wouldn't.
German beer
come
halls
together.
were meant for people to come together and talk
Yeah,
about things.
right.
So
Excellent.
All right, so this beer.
This beer, I'm excited about this.
So this is the 72 and hoppy, I assume, what is this? This is the beer that was chosen as the official beer of San Diego.
Yeah, so there's
Fill
going to
me
be
in on
some
this.
viewers who are going to be interested to know about that process, how that came to be.
So yes, this is a collaboration that we did with the San Diego Tourism Authority to begin off with. It is simply our marketing and our ownership, wanting to work with a organization that is really important and really vital to the city of San Diego. Tourism is obviously a really important industry in this town. And we just wanted to sort of see what they were up to, and then that manifested itself into a collaboration. And at the end of the day, we really stand behind the beer. We're not apologetic at all with it being dubbed the official beer of San Diego. It's something that we do take pride in, and anytime you can get publicity,
Of course.
publicity is a great thing.
Run with
So
that.
again, it's we think our representation of it is who we are. It's a drinkable, easily sessionable beer.
I agree. And if I could assert myself just for 1 minute, and to the listeners out there, this is my first time tasting this beer right now. It's solid. It's hoppy, it's drinkable, it's beautiful, it's nice and dry. You can crush many of these. If you're one of those brewers who are down on these guys because your beers didn't get chosen, and you might be worried about it representing San Diego fairly well or whatever, stop tripping, because this beer is solid, it's good, and you guys killed it, man.
Cheers.
Good job
Thank
on
you
this.
very much.
Yeah,
Cheers
it's
to that.
delicious.
Cheers to that. Can't wait to get into this.
Oh,
What
that is
hops go
so
into
good.
this?
On the
This is hopped up.
hot side on the kettle, we're gonna go with Centennial and Mosaic.
Nice.
Siding on the Centennial side. Again, one of the principles on the hoppy beers that we work with is citrus and pine sort of playing with each other, two sort of flavors that we wouldn't necessarily think work with each other, but really at the end of the day,
They do.
it's a beautiful combination. In the dry hopping, we definitely go a little Centennial, a little bit more Mosaic, but just a touch of the Equinot hop that I have.
I love all three of those varieties.
Yeah. Yep.
Really good. And Centennial is one of those old school hops, but it's still relevant. Still beautiful.
It still brings its unique character to a beer every time. I think it's just that touch of floralness that lets you know that it's a hoppy beer without just tasting like a fruit bomb. So
I get a touch of dank in the nose in addition to the citra and the pine, which
There's
is
the word.
like
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
maybe it had citra or summit or something in there, but it's beautiful, man. It's really good.
Thank you very much. We
I mean,
appreciate it.
I think it's just a great representation of what a San Diego IPA is. And especially when, there are breweries out there who are claiming to be San Diego when they're really not, to have the tourism behind an actual local brewery that can show that this is a San Diego beer is huge. And you guys did a really, really good job with it.
Thank you. We always appreciate the love, especially on something like this. And again, it got a little convoluted and a little weird there for a second. But again, the people that really understand San Diego know that San Diego can be so many different things. And to have a representation of San Diego is a hard thing to really do at times. And all we wanted to do is represent ourselves.
You're representing all of us in beautifully through this beer, which is very cool. And at the end of the day, it could have been another brewery, but they chose a local, independent craft brewery, man. So you got to be stoked about that.
Yep. And we were very excited for it at the end of the day. So that is something that we're, again, very proudful of.
This is really drinkable too. Once again, sessionable, I would guess would be the word. I mean, ABV on this is what, got to be like 4.5 to 5?
We did 4.2 on this one.
Okay, there you go. Totally sessionable, man.
Yeah.
I could crush several of these.
But it
And
doesn't
still have
taste
your wits about you.
sessionable.
I could mow the
And you
lawn.
can still be witty.
It's a lot more beer. It's a lot more beer. I'm in.
So yeah, are we ready for number 3 now?
I think so. So is this a crowler machine that you guys have?
Yes.
Because I am just like always so fascinated by the crowler machine.
You know what? It's fun explaining it to people. It's they hear it. It makes noise. It moves around. It clanks. It smacks. It crushes. But it's cool. It's what canning was in the early 1900s, and it's completely inefficient except when you apply the growler laws to it. And now it's extremely cool and efficient, and it works out beautifully. We really get behind cans. We don't package, but we do believe in cans moving forward, just for sort of the economic green sort of aspects of cans.
So maybe you and Paul can explain why it's so much better to have a crowler than a growler. Like, can you maybe like explain that a little bit?
Crowler's just fun to say.
I'll always
Right.
defer, but I mean, they both work out beautifully for that short term sort of get the beer to the people, and it's more of a legal aspect is what I've always talked to people when it comes to growlers. It illegally allows you to walk out of a place with what is considered an open container, essentially.
Does it stay fresh longer than a growler does?
Yeah. Oftentimes the lids on the growlers don't provide a super tight seal, so they do start to lose some of their carbonation. But in addition to that, the glass itself allows UV light rays in to destroy the beer, kind of make it skunky. So you're keeping, a couple of the beer's enemies away from the beer by canning it instead of putting it in growlers. One's oxygen or air, the other is UV light, and of course temperature is another one, but if you keep the growler cold, then it's not an issue.
Yeah. Been seeing more and more of this too. I mean, definitely this is popping up, and I think it goes a long way to sort of debunking the rumor. I think for years that I think it was popular for people to believe who are not initiated in beer that putting beer in cans was a bad idea, and in many ways, it's a better idea than putting it in a glass container.
It's a better way to
especially
treat
here in
beer.
San Diego too, because you can take it. It's more portable that way.
You take it to the beach, you can take them anywhere, as opposed to broken glass.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's something that we really do believe in. Without having ever been involved in packaging yet, we're just about to dip our toe into it for the first time, and it's a big endeavor, as Paul would know a lot more than I would, but we do believe in the cans as a long-term solution to some of the issues that are sort of happening in the marketplace. So.
Right now, I think there's an industry-wide movement away, away from 22-ounce bottles to these.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Right on. What are we going to get into next here? Let's. What's our next beer?
All right, so now we have this is Bay City Pale Ale. This is formerly known as San Diego Pale Ale. So we started off, we didn't have any names with our beers. We wanted to really focus on the styles of the beers. San Diego Pale Ale is something that I brewed when I was at Monkey Paw, and something I brewed when I was a home brewer as well. It's not trying to create a style, it's just trying to really show an homage to what San Diego is, all the way from Chris White and what Chris White's done to all the breweries that have made beers that are supposed to be more flavor forward and not necessarily IBU bombs. So this is sort of our interpretation of that. So we're trying to hit your palate with as much hop oil as humanly possible and trying to not tell your tongue, this is so bitter, please don't drink anymore. So this is how we try to do that.
So can you explain to me why this is a pale ale and not an IPA?
So my short answer to that, and it doesn't always appease people that have been in the industry for a while, is that I am not English and I am not moving beer to India anytime soon.
Oh,
I dig it.
that's awesome.
That's a great answer.
So IPA, I love history. Like Vienna Lager, I could probably talk to you about the history of Vienna Lager for the next 2 hours. I love the history of beer. But at the same time, again, there's so many people that have done so much great things in this town to help move what hoppy beer is away from the fact that it does make beer last longer, but the flavor needs to be consumed like that. So hoppy beers should never be sat as long as it would take for a ship to go around Africa, essentially. So
Right.
That's just, again, it's not trying to create a category. We're just trying to sort of question things. And that beer is unique. It does upset a couple of the accounts that we'll put that beer into because they're like, why don't you call this an IPA? And we're like, well, because we don't need to. It's our number one selling beer. It flies out of our tasting room, so.
I think that I've not ordered this beer because I was like, oh, it's just a pale. I want an IPA. And now I feel really dumb because this is a legit beer.
I thought it was going to be a smart ass Scott Blair type of thing. Because,
I mean, it kind of is.
right? Because, pale ales in San Diego are like IPAs in a lot of other cities.
Right.
Yes. It's less of that and it's more, in '05, I saw Greg Cook talking in an interview on the local Channel 4 station, and it was his passion that really got me interested in this thing. There's so many people in San Diego that have moved what hoppy beer is defined as, and it's changing constantly, and you guys are obviously a big part of that as well.
Well, we try, but no, solid beer.
Cheers to this,
Definitely
man.
has
Yes.
an assertive
Outstanding.
bitterness and assertive hoppiness.
Wow. This is not what I expected at all. This is really
7.2
delicious.
ABV?
7.7.
7.7. Ooh.
And even this one
It
is
doesn't
our
drink like it's that big.
No.
Right.
this is
That's
our
right.
this is our freshest batch. We just just kegged this guy off. So it's got definitely
It's nice and dry and refreshing and leaves you wanting more,
That's what we
It
try
really
to do.
does.
doesn't it?
This is a sniper. It really is.
We've had a couple of people, unfortunately, they're like, "Oh, I had 3 pale ales," and it's like, well,
You're
it was
like, "Oh, no."
that was that was 7.7. So you just made maybe a
not
little
what
bit of a
yours-
mistake, but
Your standard pale ale.
yeah, we do put that 7.7 ABV everywhere.
This is fantastic. I can see why this is your number one beer.
Yeah, and again,
Wow.
it grabs us at the heart of what San Diego is. It is. We're addicted to hops. It's fun. It's interesting. Everyone thought that trend was going to sort of fade, maybe, but San Diegans are addicted to hops.
It's a great tribute to what it's about here, man. It really
Yep.
is. Great beer.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And so far, they've all been clean and good and delicious and good examples of styles.
I feel bad that Tommy's not here because Tommy and I are like the total hopheads, and I know that he would have loved these beers. So sorry, Tommy, you're kind of missed.
You know what, Tommy? If you're watching this, I want you to know that I'm not sorry about you not being here.
Well, maybe
I'm happy to be here in your place and enjoy this fine selection of beers. Cheers, buddy.
we'll do a delivery for him later, I guess.
Yeah, we can do that. Sure.
You're far too
In a
kind.
crowler, it'll be great.
So we got one more.
Oh, and this is totally different than everything we've had.
So this is, this goes against a lot of what we've seen so far. So this is our Baltic Porter, which as a
Baltic
base is, I think, one of our top beers. It's an absolutely beautiful beer, in my opinion. 8.6% ABV. It is
my
done
goodness.
with lager yeast. And we do
Just answered my question. Yeah.
we do it long and slow. This one takes
Who doesn't like it long and slow?
long and slow. That's all it takes. But this one definitely, I love this beer. It's cool. It's fun. You get to use the malt. You get to play with a lager. I didn't have a lot of experience with lagers when I got into Bay City, but this one sort of definitely challenged me as far as how long do I really need to let the yeast do its job. And at the end of the day, I think we made a really beautiful base beer And then for our anniversary, we decided let's have some fun. So we talked to Ryan Brothers. We got some of their coffee. We got some freeze-dried blueberries, which I think is one of the easier ways to add a really nice.
I might actually taste the blueberry now.
All right. You can taste after all.
So we did coffee and blueberries in our Baltic porter, and this is sort of what happened to sort of have fun on our anniversary.
Right off the bat, man, I get the coffee in the nose of this thing.
Yeah.
It's really
the blueberry
nice.
kind of hits you after the coffee once your kind of nose gets desensitized to the coffee a little bit. But as a Baltic, I've judged Baltic porters at GABF several times, and you also get sort of a licoricey like flavor in there, and lots of cocoa. So I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm already getting those coming through the nose as well.
It's a complex beer. Again, it's a lot of fun to make.
This is unlike anything I've had before.
Thank you.
This
You
is
get the
really
blueberries
something.
and the flavor,
Totally.
and cocoa. And then the coffee kind of comes later.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
So what makes it? What is a Baltic porter? Like, what makes it?
Again, much like the Vienna Lager, it's we're talking about a historical beer. The Baltic Oceans were definitely controlled by some dudes that had the boats that knew how to get through those seas. And you're talking about they decided to have an office in London, and then they had offices in places that wanted London beer. And from what I hear, there was a sort of a transference of knowledge and ideas about dark beers, and eventually sort of the Northern European countries and cities were trying to replicate some of these London ideas just based off of people trading in the northern seas. So,
Wow,
Great job.
look at that. Professor Paul.
It's kind of like how Russian Imperial Stout kind of came to be as well. British brewers made this really strong, stout, and it became really popular with the Russian Imperial Court, and they just kept making it. It came to be known as Russian Imperial Stout.
So, Paul, can you address this? Because I've always believed, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I thought porters are usually lower in ABV versus stouts. And as I'm looking at the can here, I'm seeing like 8.6. That seems a little high.
Baltic porters are bigger.
Yeah.
So they are also differ from other porters in that they're lagered.
Okay.
So they're bigger lagered porters. Yeah. They're kind of unique in both aspects.
This is really, really a
It's
special
a
beer.
fun style.
Wow.
And then when you add the coffee and the blueberries to it, it throws a really cool twist on it. Now I could see this going nicely into oak barrels or something. You guys do that?
So we've taken the slow approach to our barrel program. We definitely want our barrel program to be as high of a quality as our other products. So we have been playing with that particular beer in oak.
Nice.
We're definitely we're happy with where it's progressing. So we're looking for Beer Week is sort of our
Very cool.
release.
Happiest week of the year.
Well, every week is Beer Week in San Diego.
Yeah. Just that one last 10 days.
But there's extra special stuff that comes
Right.
out.
Yeah. So yeah, we're looking at Beer Week to do a few different special releases. We've already played with that one in bourbon barrels, and just trying to bring a little bit more complexity to it. And
As if it's not complex enough already. Yeah. That's great beer, man. Good job on that.
Yeah.
thank you,
Yes.
thank
You
you
guys are
very
doing
much.
rad stuff.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Well, cheers to this beer.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thanks for
Cheers.
coming in.
Cheers of awesome
Cheers to
beer.
2 years. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Bay City Brewing Company, 3760 Hancock Street in San Diego, near the Valley View Casino Center, also known popularly as the Sports Arena. Chris West, head brewer, thank you so much for coming in, man. It's
Thank
a
you guys
pleasure.
for having me.
Some great beers.
Thank
Great
you.
to meet you.
Thank
Paul, Danielle.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you were able to do this with us. This is
know, this has
fun.
been
Fun.
Yeah. Tommy, take your time.
Tommy, never heard of him.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.